Yeah.
is being in Super Bowl 50, right?
Yes, sir.
Beast quarterback. Like you were my son's top dog.
Yes, sir.
Everyone was pulling for y'all to win. That I knew in my sphere of influence. I ain't never been in that position. Millions of people watching. Ball gets knocked out of my hand. Just that moment of hesitation. Like I teach in fighting, self-defense. Guy has a knife. This moment of this will get you killed. You got to respond. In that moment, because I watched it again, hearing the commentators like, now that's applicable. You put them in that situation, that's different. That's high pressure. But I share all of that to say, brother, every man, this is a good analogy, has the ball knocked out of their hands sometime, and we hesitate to dive on it.
It's an app that cancels subscriptions.
All right, so what's going on? Nick here, coming to you with another video. So this has been going viral, this interview between Cam Newton and Jason Wilson, where Jason Wilson pretty much is grilling Cam Newton and his stance on why he doesn't want to get married. You know, please stay tuned because you definitely want to see his mindset. You know, this is going to be a very explosive episode, y'all. So let's just get right into it. I don't want to waste none of your time. Let's check this out.
In life, that could be you get like for me, I use myself for example. I got my wife now, Nicole, pregnant out of wedlock, very dishonorable to her father, who was a pastor. Instead of, I did hesitate. It took me over 4 years to marry this woman. I wasted so much time. We've been married 27 years. Mm-hmm. But I finally dove on the ball. What I'm saying is, son, is that situation was so heavy. I'm just watching it today. Mm-hmm. If you haven't really unpacked that, like really, it will morph into other areas in your life where you hesitate. I talk to a lot of men about being married. They can love the woman, desire to be with her, and they always say, well, Mr. Wilson, I need to get a little more money. Mr. Wilson, I need to get this house. You know, maybe when I get this business going, I'll go ahead and lock that in. Mm-hmm. I said, me and my wife, we got it together. I didn't have money, a lot of money. My wife was a nurse. We put that together. That's why the scriptures say it's not good for man to be alone. The woman in Hebrew, the word helper is Azah, which also means a shield, succor, support. So many of us, when you look at what's happening in our community, we're missing that, especially when studies come out to show that over 80% of millionaires are married. What are we missing? Majority of us is fear. And then the inadequacy piece, the imposter syndrome. Now, when I get married, I can't be a stoic. Oh, she's going to find out that I'm depressed sometime. She's going to find out that, man, I still struggle with confidence. I'm really not the leader she thinks I am for her to be around me all day long. That's why I say, man, it's not the lack of discipline. It's not even self-control. Those are fruits of the seeds that have been planted. So if you don't have the right seeds and the right soil, your manifestation of the bad fruit is what we're seeing now in so many men.
So many men is me. The example that you gave, self-love, as far as the Super Bowl, and I'm trying to regurgitate, you know, the things that you kind of mentioned. I did unpack that.
Excellent.
I think the thing that I have an issue with is I knew and know right from wrong. I just don't always do right.
What the scriptures say about that? It's the basic definition of sin. To know the right thing to do and not do it, to him that is sin. So if I'm talking to you, my son, as a young man of the Most High,
Mhm.
you got to change that.
Yeah, but it also says in the Bible we all fall short of his glory.
But it also says that we are not to abuse his grace.
Yeah, and I also
Okay.
say we could go back and forth.
Yeah, and so what does it really come down to? It comes down to who's really living it
Yeah.
and who's just talking it.
And you can talk it, but if I ain't with you every single day, I
And
can't
that
hold you
come
accountable.
to Detroit.
No, I don't want to go to Detroit.
But real talk though, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but see again,
every case is different.
no, listen, brother, there's always a principle to everything.
Mhm.
When you look at lust, brother, it's just is what it is.
Mhm.
It affects all walks of life. It even affected Job, that he made a covenant with his eyes that he wouldn't look lustfully at a woman, and they don't dress the way they do now as they did back then.
That's not realistic in my life, though.
What's not realistic?
To not look at a woman?
Lustfully was the key word.
Yeah, but how can you control if you look at something?
Fear of Yah is the beginning of all wisdom and knowledge. See, if we were coaching, right, and I'm saying, Cam, man, I need you to, and I'm not a fanatic. I'm not in the sports.
I'm with you. I'll make you.
So I'm trying to make. So if I don't sound like I know football, forgive me, brother.
Trust me.
But if my play is, Cam, I need you to quarterback sneak it from the 20-yard line to the 50.
That's a hell of a touchdown.
Yeah. Now, where you're communicating with me, I can't do that. I ain't never been. That's ridiculous. It's impossible to do that.
No, I never said it's impossible.
Well, I
said that's not realistic.
If it's not realistic, meaning it can't happen. If it's not realistic,
Mr. Jason,
right?
Do you know my reality?
Tell me your reality.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 3 baby mamas.
Okay.
Right?
Do I need some paper and a pen?
No, you don't.
I'm just messing with you. I'm just joking, man.
You feel me?
Yeah, come on. Go
3
ahead.
baby mamas.
Yes, sir.
I've been labeled a homebreaker. Why you creating broken homes? Why you ain't marrying none of these women? But the reality that you have that covenant with your wife, 25, 26 years, 27. Your journey is completely different than my journey. All right. I've always stood on this principle because, like I said, I know right from wrong. I just don't always do right. I had a great figure of what marriage and love was in my household. So much so, I always said I grew up with 3-parent household: my mom, my dad, my grandmother. My grandmother, I'd never seen my grandmother with another man outside of her deceased husband. She was a widow. I never seen her seductive. I even never seen her flirt. Never seen her even let another man touch her respectfully. I knew these things. But as you unpack your reality, and you know, marrying is always a goal, not the goal. It's a goal.
What do you mean? You pointed to something. What do you mean by? What do you point?
Like it's a part of the journey. It's like a checkpoint.
Okay, let me go back then. First, I want to clarify. I know the right things to do as well, and don't always do it. Hence, why we have repentance in the blood of Christ. All right. I wanted to make that clear. Like, I'm not sitting here like I get it all right all the time.
Yeah, I'm with you.
As far as falling in that area of a lack of sexual self-control, I've been fighting really hard to maintain where I am. I want to finish strong. Now, let's just say, okay, my life isn't the same as yours, okay? I would agree the fact that you can go maybe to the mall and women just throw themselves at you, right? I got to go back to who we are in Yah, if you in Yah, all right? To whom much is given, much is required. If you got much more, you've been entrusted with much more will be demanded. You can't just brush that off, because you're telling me your life is different than mine, which is almost you're not saying it's an excuse for sinning, But listen,
We all sin. Your sin, and no sin greater than the next one.
Hebrews chapter 10, 26. The one who willingly sins, willingly is the key word.
Mm-hmm.
There no longer remains a sacrifice for his sins. So if I go out here and kill everybody in this room and don't repent, where am I going, brother? It is written that our name could be taken out of the book of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back again. You have been given and entrusted with much. You have. Too much is given, much more will be demanded.
But
So I want to stop it real quick before you go, because I try to make it play for quite some time. But like, what's your thoughts here before? Because maybe you could go first. What's your thoughts so far, man?
I think it's a very good topic because we see two different realities. We see an athlete who's a millionaire, whose lifestyle is fundamentally different from a hardworking man who's married, who doesn't have necessarily millions, or who doesn't have that star status as Cam Newton, right? Jason Wilson can be famous, but not as famous as Cam Newton, right? So we have you have a person with 3 baby mothers and a person who is married for 27 years. And it's interesting how they going back and forth in their philosophy about marriage using the Bible.
Right.
So one thing I would like to point out is that Cam Newton says he knows right, but he doesn't always do right. Now, having said that, based on what he said in his own mouth, it seems like that's an excuse because he knows right. He said he has good examples of what marriage should look like.
Right.
So the thing is, he hasn't revealed why he's not married yet.
Right.
But he knows it's an important pillar. It's like an important institution, especially to build family, because he himself said that he's been accused of being a home wrecker.
Right.
What are your thoughts?
So honestly, the first thing that comes to my mind is like the Bible thumping, and not necessarily in a bad way, but it's just like people can make the Bible say whatever they want it to say, right? Like you have Jason Wilson, who I don't know, but the constant reference to Yah, maybe he's a Hebrew Israelite, I don't know, but he's like dropping verses and trying to like sway this guy's mind, Cam Newton. And Cam Newton, it seems very clear to me, like, you know, he kind of represents like a newer generation, right? He's younger than Jason Wilson, so his mind is kind of different. And it's like, sometimes I wonder, is that the best way to try to reach these cats? Because it's just like, again, I'm watching this for the first time, so I'm hoping there's going to be some type of common ground where he could probably see what Jason is talking about. But it seems very clear that Jason is trying to instill in him the importance of, like, brother, get married. And he seems like he acknowledges that it's a goal. That's how he phrased it. He said it's a goal, but it's not the goal. So now it's like, okay, him pointing up again. This is my first time watching it. I don't know what he's even referring to. Him pointing up, I'm assuming maybe he's just trying to make it to some type of spiritual destination. I don't know, but he's pointing up and he's saying it's not the goal. I think the only problem is that a lot of times when it comes to this modern generation, people try to put off marriage, and that was like the first commandment, right? It's like, be fruitful and multiply. Like, it was not good for man to be alone. So it's like, I think the biggest thing, at least for me,
therefore he shall leave his mother and father to cling on to his wife.
Right. So for me, it's kind of like, if you have all these millions That's where I want to get to when I'm watching this, because Cam Newton is living a life that we could probably argue that many men wish they could ever be, right? To have the millions, to have, as Jason Wilson mentioned, like going to the store and maybe a bunch of girls are like flocking over him or whatever the case may be. Like Cam Newton is living a life. And that's why he said, hey, do you know my reality? We don't know his reality. But the thing is, despite all the goals that you already have accomplished, you already got all this success, and it's just like, but now what? You missed perhaps one of the most primary goals, which was, bro, find your wife. You get find that partner that you could go through life with. So I think that's where, again, I'm gonna leave it open ended because I didn't watch this. I want to see what he's gonna say. But that's kind of what's going on in my mind. Is just like you putting off this goal as if it's not the goal, but then you accomplish all these other things. And how long are you going to keep pushing it off? Like are those things more important than finding that partner? I don't know. Let's see.
I'm not saying that, and I don't want people to, especially you, as we're having this conversation, I don't want people to take that as I'm better than, or it's.
I'm sorry. Can I just be clear? I'm sorry. I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying. You just when we met before here, you don't even give that vibe, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. I didn't mean that. What I'm meaning is when you say your life is different than mine.
Different.
I'm talking about the temptation. Let's stay on topic. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Brother, it's a gift of who you are, what you've been through, and your influence.
Right.
It's supposed to be used for the kingdom.
Yes.
Samson's strength was for the kingdom, but he laid with the wrong woman.
Delilah.
Yeah, and she took him out. And he prayed, Abba, give me strength one more time, and I'll crush all these Philistines. He died before his time. The scripture says, you be overly foolish, you'll die before your time.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, so that's all I'm saying to you is this. I agree with you. I can't sit here and say, people will recognize me, but if you walk somewhere publicly and I walk somewhere publicly, I may get to where I'm going. No, I will get to where I'm going faster than you would.
Yeah.
People will stop you.
I think I was saying that to the individual that are not graceful with what has happened, right? Going back to the Shannon Sharp situation. Okay. Well, for me, as I'm talking about my reality, right? Knowing right from wrong and not always choosing right, my fear of divorce is greater than my desire to get married.
So give me that. I appreciate you saying that.
There's a creative side hustle almost nobody is talking.
Now we've gotten somewhere. Now we've gotten the truth, right? So the thing is, right? All of that stuff that he said in the beginning means nothing. All of that was excuses. This is the real reason why a person like Cam Newton is not getting married. The fear of divorce is greater than him getting married. Right. Now let's analyze that. The divorce rate is extremely high. And we all know when rich people, then they get divorced, especially rich, prominent men, right? A lot of their earnings, a lot of their money that they've accumulated in the past, they have to share this now with the woman. That is a valid excuse if men are marrying women and women are choosing not to stay in these marriages, and they can become financially rich overnight and take half of the man's earning or whatever the judge decides is appropriate for the woman to take, you can see why men are hesitant to get married.
Right.
So this is why he's saying my reality is not the same as yours.
Right. No, that's valid. And two things that come to my mind immediately now that he's talking about fear, right? Like one, since they Bible thumping, I guess let me throw my two scriptures in there. But it's just like, the Bible mentions how fear, of man in particular, but fear brings a snare, right? So I do believe there's a trap that's essentially taking place, and the trap is that, like, so long as you have a fear present within your being, you're automatically going to move in such a way where you're not truly free. And you can see that with Cam Newton, right? Like, he's not free to truly find his partner and truly be invested in them. Like, he already stated, he has 3 baby mamas, right? They're accusing him, and I think the word that he said is homewrecker, whatever.
Homewrecker, yes.
The fact that he said they accused him of that shows me that I don't think that's how he perceives himself to be. So I don't know how instrumental or how active he is in his children's lives, or even with these women, but it seems like regardless of the case, he doesn't want to go I guess he doesn't want to make that initial that full step to actually be married, right? And as you said, because of that fear, the next verse that came to my mind is just like, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but a love, power, and sound mind, right? So now these are the kind of things where it's just like, bro, if fear is your motivation, and I think this goes for any man, and I say man in the general, right? But in this context in particular, wealthy men, right, is like Yah didn't give you a spirit of fear. So anything that's motivated by fear is never from the Most High. So, like you said, a lot of the rhetoric that was said before is kind of like pointless, right? Because he's doing all this talking, and just to truly get to the real meat and potato of the topic, which is that, bro, you are operating in fear. So you gotta remove that fear so that you could truly walk in your true purpose, right? Because it's gonna.
But why would he be afraid? Why would he, as a Christian or a Bible, let's call him a person who has knowledge of the Bible, why would he be afraid though?
I think he's afraid because the reality, as he said, is that, brother, do you understand the money that I have? I'm probably, I probably see the type of money that most of us probably would never see ever in their lives. So if he gets in a divorce in particular, it's gonna hit him way more than any one of us, right?
But the reason why I say this is it the fact there could be another possibility, and I could be wrong. This is me speculating now. Is Cam Newton dating Christian women? Is he because is he trying to be equally yoked with those type of women? Because if he is, then the fear should lessen. But if he's attracted to other types of women, given his lifestyle and money, then I can understand why the fear increases. You get what I'm saying?
So I guess for the sake of time and, chat, I would love to hear from y'all. Like, do you believe that like, do you even think it matters the type of woman he's dealing with? Because I do get where you're coming from, but now the only kickback I will have is that I would venture to say when you are tempted by that level of success, it could turn anybody into the wrong person, right? I don't care what you call yourself, Muslim, Christian, what, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you see a person with that type of money, I mean, women get tempted the same way men get tempted, right?
True.
Right? But let's keep going.
You just identified one issue that's stopping you. But we know God didn't give us a spirit of fear. He gave us a spirit of power, love, and self-control. Or
in him, not a human.
What you mean?
Like
in what?
In him.
In him,
like,
what?
I believe in him.
To what? You just said
my fear of divorce is greater than my desire
to get married. I heard you. I want to make sure, because you said something else.
Yeah.
So let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You're saying, in layman's terms, that what's preventing you from marrying any of these women is your fear of being divorced.
Yes.
Just want to make sure I understood that.
Yes.
All right. Now I'm talking about fear. It does not come from Most High. It is written that fear comes from the devil. He did not give us a spirit of fear. Most High gave us a spirit of power, love, and sound mind or discipline.
Yep.
That's what I'm saying. I love the fact, brother, that you identified it. Most men will continue living promiscuous lives, running from their calling, their purpose, because of that fear. The Bible says that Satan prowls around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he can devour. When I studied that, it's deep. The lion roars to scare the prey into where he wants them to go. That's why the roar is important, the fear. That's why it says do not be fear over 300 times in the scriptures. I'm proud of you. So now we got to move past fear into purpose. He's giving you all of this. I want to come back to the Most High empty. I don't want to leave here with my cup full. There are many days I cry from fatigue, wanting my life. Why can't I be like the normal Christian and go do this and do some right things and do a little bad things? He didn't die for me to compromise. Brother, who you are, he's giving it to you not as a crux or a crutch, but as a power. So what triggers the fear? What have you seen about, I guess, divorce that makes you, I'm asking, I'm not.
And I want to do a quick comment here because it seems like Jason Wilson is looking at him as like a role model of sorts, right? Rightfully so.
He
But
is.
that's the thing, right? It's like with much, and he said it, right? With to those who is given much, much is required. So I think there's an aspect of Cam Newton where it's just like, okay, he has all these riches, he has all the accolades. There's a lot of people looking at him. Now, therefore, do you need to live your life in such a way that can be an example to others? Perhaps to teach others that, okay, yeah, you are able to have all the success and not be afraid to get married. You know what I'm saying? Chat, maybe y'all could let me know what's your thoughts, but I just wanted to add that in there.
Look, I'm not being sarcastic. I want you to tell me.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Personally, not in the news. Because we done seen tons of stuff in the news. Personally.
Here's the secret to getting better ChatGPT results.
My fault, chat. Let's get back to it.
Smarter prompts.
I would label myself like the black sheep of the family. Right? My older brother, my mom had 3 sons. My older brother, he's married, happily married, beautiful family. Then comes me, my younger brother, happily married. Don't have kids yet. They got 2 dogs. They're like the most theatrical, perfect little situation. I admire that. Not just my younger brother, but my older brother, and also my father. Real examples, I know what marriage is. I have great examples. But there also was a thing that said, what would Jesus do? Correct?
Who created that?
Man.
Okay, so we
all want to be like Jesus, right?
Okay.
Jesus wasn't married.
Bro, son, come on. How long was Jesus here?
33 years.
How long was his ministry?
A lifetime.
3. Well, when he was, he ministered his entire life because at 12 he was teaching in a synagogue. But they say scholars or theologians say at 30, and then he lived 3 years in accomplishing all that he needed to do. Now, you use him as an example, but throughout, let's go to the beginning. The goal is 1 man, 1 woman, 1 flesh. 2, which is 1 and 1 equals 2, become 1 flesh. That's scripture. Okay, so real quick.
But I just need to hear this. Was Jesus married or not?
I already answered that.
I didn't hear you.
No, he was not married.
Okay,
Okay.
keep making your point.
Okay. Well, we can stay there.
Mhm.
What is your point? Did he preach against marriage? What did Jesus say the reason why Moses allowed for divorce?
Infidelity.
No.
What? The adultery. No, it wasn't adultery.
Mm-mm. Remember, the Most High is, see, when you're running or escapism, you think because the Most High allows something that he approved it. Yeshua, Jesus said that Moses allowed them that certificate of divorce because the people's hearts were hardened. It's not his will, son. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
Truth is truth. It's not what we can make it. It can't, it's solid. It stands on something.
Mm-hmm.
Yahushua's mission wasn't to come here to have a family. His mission was to come here and show us the way and die for our sins and rise again on the third day and give us salvation, access to the Most High, which we didn't have. He was locked in. So that's the danger in having a fear. I'm not saying you have a fear-based mind, but when we allow fear, or when we look through the lenses of fear.
Pause. Yeah. Do you think Cam Newton, his body language, do you think he's listening? Or he's just like, yeah. You know, whatever. Like, if you like, his body language seems like he's just like, I don't know, like he's not receptive. I could be wrong. Maybe he's listening, but
he was locked in.
Yeah. So his body language. I noticed it too. First of all, let me tackle this. Please, y'all, please chime in the chat. If there's any fellas in here, and women, are y'all afraid to get married? I think that's the crux from what I'm hearing. Again, I'm going through this the same way y'all going through this for the very first time. It seems like he said he's afraid. And my thing is this, y'all, like this guy, Jason Wilson, he's trying to give this dude wisdom from the scriptures, but this is what I mean, right? And this is what I was saying before, like Cam Newton, excuse me, he seems to me like somebody that represents this newer generation. And I'm not too sure if Bible thumping is the way to reach them. Again, I don't know what's going to be the finale, you know, the finality of this interview or this discussion, but I don't see right now. I don't feel like there's a breakthrough in Cam Newton, right? Like this. Go ahead, bro.
No, I like to call it Bible boxing.
Okay.
Instead of Bible thumping, but it's interesting. Whatever the case, whatever you call it, Bible thumping or Bible boxing, Cam Newton is using verses and his understanding of the Bible to kind of excuse his lifestyle. Was Jesus married? I was just like, yo, what does have to do with marriage? Like, so you want to be like Jesus? If that's the case, Jesus didn't have children.
Right.
Like you can't make that excuse if you're not living that lifestyle. So already that's null and void. His excuse was Jesus married. So right. Jesus, I mean, there's no reports of Jesus having children. There's no reports of him getting married. There's no reports of him having sex, right? So it's just like, Cam, you can't use that excuse, unfortunately.
What would Jesus do? He said.
What would Jesus do? Not only that, he just said, your lifestyle is not my lifestyle. So how could he? Why would he now use Jesus' lifestyle and try to, I guess, make a comparative study to his lifestyle? You're not the same.
Yeah.
So you see what I'm saying is like he's using Bible references to justify his lifestyle, to make excuses for himself, but he's still running away from the fear. He said he has three great examples: his father, his older brother and younger brother because they're all married. He knows what marriage looks like, but he's still not addressing the fear.
Nah, you speaking fact. And I see several people in the chat. You know, I see Shebrew, Johnny X Torpedo, Little Lake Lodge, House of Lamar just came in. So shalom to all of y'all. Bro, you're right. This is the problem with I guess religion, where it's just like Jason Wilson kind of said it. He's just like, bro, it is stable, right? Like it's concrete. And for him, a lot of time people could make the Bible say whatever the hell they wanted to say just to fit their lifestyle. Like, bro, Jesus wasn't married. But like you said, so why the hell did you just dig down 3 girls and give them a child? Like, what are you doing? Right? If you really want to be like Jesus, like, come on now. You only just using the word to satisfy your own desires, right?
Selectively. He's using it selectively. And this is the problem.
Yeah. So now he got him into a corner, and he knows he probably is looking, he looks wrong. But that's how his disposition is kind of like, bro, I'm not trying to hear this right now. Like, this is his face right now, right? Like, he's not trying to hear that. But let's keep going, y'all.
So that's what the danger in having a fear. I'm not saying you have a fear-based mind, but when we allow fear, or when we look through the lenses of fear, it changes really the perspective or perception of what he's trying to show us. For me, let me give you an example.
I'm still my example's still pending too. But
What example still pending?
I didn't give you the example of what.
Okay, well okay. Your turn.
I was trying to tell you know what I'm saying.
Well, long as we clear on why Jesus wasn't married.
That's cool.
Okay, cool. Go to your examples about what makes you fear divorce.
Most recently,
Just in general, just like
man.
what makes you
This is the
fear
good-
divorce?
this is the good part.
Listen, I get it. Listen. See, I don't want you to think I didn't have what you have, brother. I didn't
I
have.
ain't thinking nothing, man. I like where we at.
Okay, no.
I like
Listen.
I love
and I mean that.
I'm not
I'm right with
disingenuous. Thank you.
I already
So
knew that
please
when we
take your
met.
time.
So listen,
Yes, sir.
my father, one of the strongest men I ever met in my life, married 4 times. I saw what it cost him. So I know firsthand. Listen. My father,
It gets tricky.
look, my father cut hair when haircuts was $7.
Man, you know how much haircuts cost now?
That's my point. They should have been more back then. So look how hard he had to work to support all his children. Child support. I saw the ill effects in his life. My fear of divorce, see, again, is how you look at things. I never want my children to experience what I never had that I long to give them. That's my fear of divorcing Nicole, is that it cuts that off. I vowed to break that out of my family, and I did. And then also, when you understand, if I want to have generational wealth, that starts with the marriage. You know, you get these 3 and 4 homes, now you ain't playing football no more. Stuff gets more money, costs expensive, kids become jealous, like in David's household. Remember, David's son raped his daughter, then the other son had to kill the son, and you see? And so
I'm very familiar.
Yeah, and so this, I don't want to say there's nothing more dangerous, but it's very dangerous when you know scriptures, but really aren't in relationship with the Most High.
Says who though? And that's where it gets tricky.
It doesn't get tricky at all. You didn't let me answer the question.
No, okay, you're right.
Titus, I think it's 1:16 says they profess to know me, but by their actions they deny me. You have no relationship. See, my man, it's so many of us have been in church but not in Christ, and I'm not talking about you, because I don't know your story.
Talk to me then.
Okay, well, but I can't say that. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
I don't know you. when this is off, I don't even know if we exchange numbers, anything, it'll go.
We locked
Okay,
in.
all right, cool. So I'm saying, okay, good.
Because I think these type of conversations is needed, because I think oftentimes, you know, David was a guy after God's own heart. God promised all David's enemies the head. He served Saul, knowing that Saul was envious of who David was becoming. Out of David's obedience to God, he never killed Saul. Even the man who did kill Saul, David killed him off of the principle.
Because Saul was what, anointed?
Creators, take these 3 apps I built.
Bro,
to
I feel like that has nothing to do with the topic.
Facts. I don't know where he's getting to. It's a lot of deflection, like, and this is the kind of thing that I think
my son is preaching.
But and the face. I think the face is what's getting me. But like, this is the thing, right? Like, this dude, I think that's what Jason was saying, right? On all seriousness, it's dangerous when you know the word, but you don't have no relationship. Like, because all of this is just fluff. He is clear. Everything that Jason is saying to him, he like, yeah, I'm aware. And now he's going into preaching mode himself. But it's just like, brother, the topic is marriage. And the guy and Jason, as an older individual, he's trying to show you, like, bro, I trust me, I get the pain of divorce because I've seen my father go through it 3 times, right? He got four times? He had 4 wives, right? Or was it 4 divorces?
He was married 4 times.
So 3 divorces, right? So he's seen his father go through it, but it's just like, brother, I think that's the thing, right? And I want to see him land the plane on that. I think what he's trying to say is that, no, matter of fact, he did land the plane. He was like, I want to break the generational curse. So he chose to do that for his family.
Yes.
And now he's trying to build generational wealth. And this is the thing, right? Like, fellas, this is exactly the point, you know, for all the men listening. He said that generational wealth starts with the family. It makes no sense for us as men to obtain all this wealth. And who are we going to pass it down to? It's not generational then. It's for our lifetime, but it won't pass on to the generations because you never built an actual family. And it's real bad if you have, you know, if you are divorced or you in child support or whatever the case may be, because at that point in time, if that woman ends up marrying another man, could you imagine all your resources going to another man's you know what I'm saying, lineage? Like, we have to actually understand as men that we gotta actually build up our families, man. And I get it. It is tough. There are a lot of shady people on both sides, both men and women. But if we continue to operate in fear, it is always going to be a snare. Like, you're not going to beat scripture. And this is why I said it even before I heard Jason Wilson say it, you know, but the word is the word, right? So I'm not trying to take credit. But God, Yah, didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and sound mind. So it doesn't make sense for you to be operating in fear. And what it should be is you moving with wisdom so that you can actually find someone that is equally yoked. And like you say, maybe don't be drawn to the type of women that are probably shady and only looking for you for your money and things of that sort. Go ahead.
But
bro.
this is where I think you precisely hit it. Is Cam Newton looking for a Christian woman? Because if he's looking for a Christian woman, then a Christian woman is less likely to divorce because she understands the power of marriage and the power of family. Right? She's not going to view Cam Newton as an ATM, but she's going to view Cam Newton as a human being that's trying to serve God. But if he's going after a certain type of women, right, that don't have the fear of God, then they could easily use him as an ATM and use him as a bank and just like dip off when, you know, like, okay, I got a kid by you, but now I'm gonna leave. That's what this is why many athletes, they get caught up. It's not just Cam Newton. There's many NFL players that get caught up. many NBA players that get caught off. Remember, you brought up the example of the soccer player who put all his possession in his mother's name. We have to call it a spade. Rich people, rich men are afraid of getting married because they don't want to go through divorce and lose all their hard-earning money. Look at Jeff Bezos. The woman that divorced him became an instant millionaire overnight. Same thing with Bill Gates. They divorced him and they became instant millionaires.
So this is the question, and please, fellas, please chime in. I really want to hear your thoughts. What is it then about men who profess to be believers? I don't care what, there's so many denominations. I don't even want to get into that discussion. But if you truly claim that you serve in the Most High, is there something in us that desires to be unequally yoked? Like, is there something in us that's attracted to a certain type of woman? You get what I'm saying? Because that's the thing. Like the Christian woman, if I'm using that term very loosely, just a believing woman, because she carries herself with a certain level of decorum, a certain level of self-respect, is that not attractive to us? Are we actually seeking the thoughts? Are we seeking the ratchet girls? Are we seeking the girls with the BBLs and the fake bodies? Is that something that we deep down within our heart are attracted to? And therefore, that's why we end up being divorced with these women, because these women ain't shit? Like,
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
I mean, think about it. Cam Newton is going from state to state playing football. You don't think women is going to throw themselves at him? Like women throw themselves at him all the time. I mean, and the women today, they don't dress like people dressed back in the days. They dress, our understanding of modesty is not their understanding of modesty, right? Nowadays you see women twerking like all the time. Come on, we're men, we're visual creatures. We see cleavage, we see a big butt, we see a beautiful smile, and we're like, oh snap, I want to try that.
You see,
I
think that's the thing, right? And I'll say this one last thing before we watch some more. But it's like it's almost like you said one of your favorite verses with Samson, in the book of Judges.
Mm-hmm.
Where just like, is there not any amongst us whom you can marry? Like, do you have to go out there? And that's what I mean. Like, that's why in the house, in the household of faith, right, where you have all these women that profess to believe what you believe in. Why are we chasing women outside? The woman that is going to be a Delilah. Why are we chasing that when you could actually build with a woman that actually understands what you're about and is willing to actually grow with you? Like, this is what I mean. Yeah, Little Lake Lodge, men who are close to y'all will not be attracted to those kind of women, but they won't touch them with a 20-foot pole. Hey,
Good point.
That's I agree, and that's why. Therefore, based off what you're saying, let me keep it on the screen. Based off what you're saying, then that calls to mention that perhaps this is what Jason Wilson is saying. It's dangerous when you know a lot of word, but you don't have a real relationship. That you being attracted to those type of women probably shows that deep down inside you don't have a true relationship with the Most High. Yeah, you do. You go to church. You can quote the scriptures, the passages, but you're not truly living it. And I guess technically, Cam Newton already told on himself, right? I know what to do. I know the right thing to do. I don't do it, right? He don't got that relationship.
That them 3 or 4 has got him, chokehold. Now let me stop. They may not be 3 or 4s. They may not be 3 or 4s, but the idea is he knows better. He just not choosing to do better, and that's wrong on his part.
So now when we look at David, one thing I love about his story is that when he sinned, he repented. Did he do it again?
All right. Well, that was the good in David.
No, listen.
Because I'm hip.
Let's stay there. See, that's the problem.
So
No. Let's stay on David.
Say that.
Because I see, brother, you like, I gotta grab you and hold you, put you in the choke or something just to get you to stay still.
Yeah.
When he sinned,
Mm-hmm.
just say with Bathsheba, is it written that he did that again?
No. That was the only time
No.
he displeased God, though.
Well, he counted Israel, the men of Israel. Most High was angry at him. What do you mean?
But
So this is what I'm saying. So now listen, you telling me, I guess you told me you got the word at your hip, right?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant, the Bible. So you know the word, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now cool. Okay.
What they say, Paquito.
Okay. But listen, I'm seeing just from our conversation, and listen, brother, I'm not in the place that I'm a authority like on Yah's word. I got some bad brothers in my circle that I lean into and still learn.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying, just from our brief conversation, you got to learn more of his word. That's where the deception comes in. That's how Satan is able to deceive us.
Okay.
And that's when the religious come, what they talk, like you were just saying. And you said, well, no, let me juxtapose that right here. And then you tell me what you mean by that.
Okay.
So please, let's move on from David. What was the next thing you said?
So I was going to give you an example.
Of David?
Of my fear. I never told you.
We know, yeah. Okay, yeah.
So you keep jumping.
No, you can't blame me for that.
Hold you down.
I gotta put you
lock you down. You all over the place.
No, that's you. We got the tape. We got the tape. I'm
Yeah.
texting you. It's all good.
After further review,
pivoted.
the field is Jason Williams. Wilson. I'm sorry.
It's all good.
But this is my example. There's a young man by the name of Tyreek Hill. Example.
There we go.
17.
I think we just covered that, right?
There we go. Tyreek Hill was married for 17 months and he got a divorce, and the judge penalized him heavily. There we go. Now we making sense now. Now we getting somewhere with Cam. Now we getting some truth and honesty.
Hey, so Cam is about to checkmate Jason Wilson? Is that what you're telling me?
No. He's not checkmating Jason Wilson. But I'm saying is just like, again, notice the caliber of women that these athletes date. They are drop dead beautiful. But do they have substance? You never see these women are mediocre or unconventionally not beautiful or beautiful, whatever the case may be. But they're either conventionally beautiful or even beyond that.
Yeah.
You see? Now we getting some truth out of him. Because that's a good example. That's a very good example, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. Indeed.
17 months.
17 months. And I think based off of the video we covered, if I have my math right, he had to give a lump sum of $500,000 off rip. And then every month he has to pay $20,000 to $50,000, y'all.
for a woman who never played football in her life.
So this is now, like you said, this is the reality that we are not privy to, because these guys are on a different level, like $50,000 a month. Some people don't even make that in a year. So you can understand where it's just like, bro, if I'm here, I'm breaking my literal body, blood, sweat, and tears. Some people leave out, never can play football again because their knees are just shot.
Concussion,
CTE, right? And all that stuff. And that's just like, now I gotta give this woman, so I get it. I can see where it comes from, but now is it justified? Again, as men, are we supposed to be operated in fear? Right? So now
I don't know, man. I don't know. Yo, bro, I just got this money. I'm not trying to lose it. Think about that.
I think we need to move in wisdom. Because you said, like you said it, the caliber women that they're dealing with. You see, all that is in the world is the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. And these guys are going inside relationships too often than not being led by the lust of the eyes. You know what I'm saying? These girls are just attractive. So that's what you're going into. But again, you said it. What's the substance of this woman? What's the caliber of this woman? You know what I'm saying? Like, was she a praying woman? Was she?
Months. Example, reportedly, paying $500,000, $50,000 monthly,
Oh, wow.
car, a mansion that he worked hard for. These are all examples, right? You can't say it through that lens because there's also females who have been burned by the covenant of what marriage is. I believe marriage is a connection. I don't believe.
Okay, so this is the confusing part.
Okay.
You're a man of Yah, but you're saying things that not in the scriptures. You said you just believe marriage is just a connection.
Yeah.
So think of it as like a TV ad with a catalog component where
That's not marriage is.
Say that again?
That's not what marriage is. A connection. You can have a connection with mad people. That don't mean you're married.
Right.
I got a
Where
connection
did you get that from in
too.
the scriptures?
Well, holy matrimony.
That's not in the scriptures.
Okay, well, tell me, is this in the scripture? Can you lift up your left hand? Is a ring signifying a marriage?
It's not.
But Christians do.
Christians aren't the only ones who wear wedding bands.
But Christians do. I can't speak for everybody.
But actually, you know what? Should I have my word with me?
You got to keep it on your hip.
I got it in my phone. Got it in my
Tell me in NIV, King James, where it said everybody married has to wear a ring.
No. That's not what I'm looking for. The marriage.
There's things that we do, Mr.
But
Jason.
no, I'm talking about specifically what you.
So now he's actually making a good point. He's actually making a good point. I'm gonna concede to that. There are things in quote unquote marriage, according to the world and according to religion, that is not biblical. So now you see, here's the thing, right? But this might seem kind of confusing. Is it possible to truly be married with somebody without all the legalities? Because if so, and I do believe it's possible, but if so, then perhaps it would be wise for men to seek that route. Like maybe you don't need to go to the county clerk or whatever and sign papers and have a marriage license or do the whole ring, right, which is pagan in nature if you study it. I mean, maybe you don't got to go out that route. Maybe that's where he's going with this.
Hold on. I gotta provide some pushback, Nick. I gotta provide pushback.
Cool.
Even if you get a ceremonial marriage, right? Notice it's called ceremonial marriage because there's got to be witnesses. The two families got to be involved. There's got to be some sort of ceremony for this to happen.
Sure, I agree.
But now, here's the thing.
What that has to do with the ring and all the other...
Yes. Forget the ring. Forget the ring. There's got to be a ceremonial marriage because what happens is now you have witnesses that can attest to your marriage. You see? The legal part...
So wait. Actually, I just want to confirm. Do you believe, when you say ceremonial, do you believe marriage is only valid? Because I agree about both. I believe witnesses need to be present, but does there need to be the walking down the aisle and the whole
whatever ceremony you have in your culture that considers marriage, that will suffice as marriage? That's what I mean. Because the Most High said, if a man lays down with a woman, he has to marry her. So it's not just sex.
Yeah,
the sex is supposed to be designed as to seal the marriage. Notice when Jacob had his wife, they had a ceremonial marriage for him. They had like a festivities and parties for him.
For Jacob?
For Jacob, when he married Leah, he said, "Go fulfill your husband's duty," or whatever the case may be.
I don't see there was no ceremony.
There was a ceremony because Laban even said, it's not customary for the younger to get married before the older. And then when the 7 years came, he married Leah. They had like a whatever ceremony, and then he said, "Go fulfill your thing. Go fulfill your."
That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna push back on that. I don't see that in the book. There was no ceremony, and I don't see nowhere where it says you need to have a ceremony. Now, again, I agree in terms of the witnesses, because like notice the father Laban is present. He knows this is taking place. People, so I get that. I'm cool.
But that's the ceremony. That's the ceremony.
Maybe the terminology is off because I don't view that as a ceremony. But let's say the spirit of what you're saying is that witnesses need to be there to substantiate that these two are getting married. I'm cool with that. What I'm saying is this: does it necessarily like is that a viable route to take?
Why do we even have legal marriages? Why do we even?
Little Lake Lodge says Josh explains they had a party before he slept with her. Okay, cool. If they did, fine. Now, here's what I would ask you, Little Lake Lodge. Do you believe that every person that got married in the Bible had a ceremony? Because I'm not under that impression, but I could be wrong. And I don't see there.
But why would Christ even say bring people at the wedding feast?
And then Little Lake Lodge says, but there is no law saying a wedding is needed for marriage. That's what I'm saying. I don't see that in the law.
No, but why would Christ himself state that when he gets married to the church, there's a wedding feast? Why?
So hear me out, right? I'm not against the ceremony. I think this is the problem with where we heading in right now. I have no issue with the ceremony. I don't. What I'm saying, the heart of what I was saying is that to be fair to Cam, he's saying there's a lot of things in religion, right, that takes place regarding marriage that also, because of that, which let's just keep it a buck, the introduction of the government, the state in your marriage. When you bring that entity into your marriage, there are certain things that now the man legally has to do in order, because he was already saddled up with the state. And what I'm saying is that, is it possible to have, even if you want to have a ceremony, I'll concede on that. Can you have a ceremony, just you and your family, without the state, without all these other things present, without the pagan ring, without all those things? Can you have that type of marriage?
Yes, you can.
I'm saying
but here's the problem.
Let me land the plane. I'm saying that as someone who did it. I don't got no state married, and I'm married to my wife. We've been with each other for 8 years.
Yes.
You don't need that stuff.
Here's the thing. And this is what I'm going to stress, right? If you're going to get married, the ceremonial route is either you have a festivity to let people know that you guys are married, or you pay a dowry to the woman's father. Those are the only. Wait. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to my brother. Hold on. Those are the two ways I understand marriage based on the Bible. Is either you pay a dowry, right, or you have a party, whatever the case may be, right?
Okay.
Now, why has the legalities come into play?
Right.
I'll tell you why the legalities come into play. Because men had much more control, and they would do bad things to women and divorce them whenever they felt like it. And women they had the short end of the stick. You could punch me, beat me, whatever the case may be, have sex with me, I have kids with you, and now you don't like me, you divorce me, and I still get nothing at the end of the day.
So now this is what I mean. Do you need the state to regulate that? Or should that be something that, if we were living in a righteous culture, the community should regulate that?
The community.
Okay, now that's all I'm really saying.
The problem is because of slavery and colonization, we don't have the community any longer. We don't have that village where the elders regulate things.
No. What you're saying is facts. Because again, I believe the marriage license came way after, and it was due to miscegenation, where slaves were having sex with the slave masters' wives. There was a whole bunch of nonsense that took place. So, but that's all I'm getting at. I think, again, to the spirit of what I'm saying, I do believe there's a way for us to engage in marriage where everything is copacetic, everything is done in proper order, proper fashion amongst the community, where everybody. And also, here's another thing too, right? People don't realize that it's actually legal. You can actually sign a family Bible. Like, that's what people were doing for years prior to the marriage license. You can get married and literally buy a family Bible, y'all. You and your wife and the witnesses sign it. It's literally in the law. You can look this up. So you don't need an actual marriage license, because that's the part that I'm really getting to. And again, to be fair to Cam Newton, he's bringing up Tyreek Hill for a reason, because again, he's on a different echelon. He's a different caliber in terms of his finances that we will never understand. And at that point in time, we got to actually hear him out. Because it is like, again, not to justify his fear, but more so just to see where he's coming from. Because he's saying that, look, man, there's a lot of things that's not in that Bible that y'all do. Right?
You said that you believe, not the scriptures testify or says, or Yah says, or wills. You believe that marriage is just a connection.
No. You talking about specifics. I'm a
mature man of Yah. So when you talk to me, let me give you room to really expound on what you're saying.
Yes,
so
sir.
yeah, when you just say that, that's very vague to me. And so,
okay,
you know what I'm saying? So
I'll be more direct.
Okay.
And I'll say a part of my fear that the world has created this weaponization of marriage.
Mm-hmm. We've allowed the world to define marriage.
Correct. So when you lift your hand up one more time, that's the male's ring. Heaven forbid what a female lifting up her ring. That's pressure. That's weapons. That's something to say, oh, you're not married? What's the first thing a woman does when she get married? What she do? Lift up her what?
I don't know. My wife lifted up me.
No. What, you a big ass?
No, you know what I mean. You see. So listen. So
I tried, brother. Just pray for me. Don't talk about me.
Come on, man. But we listen. So the prophet Malachi, he said, what was the one God seeking when he joined man and woman? It was godly children. Okay. Reason marriage is under attack, and it's been, we as believers, we've allowed the world to define it, which we should never do.
Bet $5 and get 200.
And I'm glad they touched on it, because that's kind of like what I was talking about, right? Like, it's the world has now determined what marriage is, but that's not what marriage is according to the scriptures, right?
Whenever the Most High stops getting glory, we're in trouble. That's why we were created, to bring him glory.
Yes, sir.
So that's what he was seeking through the joining of a man and a woman, to have children, and those children are to bring him glory. So let's go back to you now. Your grandmother, she was, even when her husband died, she still, your mother and father was over 50 years, what'd you say?
40.
Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's been modeled for you.
Yeah.
And what I tell people all the time when I'm talking to men is like, look, when you cross my path, this is just another moment the Most High may say in judgment. When we have these excuses like, yeah, well, if you would have gave me this, I would have did this. If I would have known this, I would have did this. You remember that time you met Jason Wilson? Or Jason, you remember that time you met Cam Newton and you didn't approach that conversation with love for him, who he really is, besides a football player, successful businessman? So we all gonna be held accountable by the one who can truly hold us accountable. I say that in love because, again, I'm gonna go back to what I said before. I don't know if you know how bad you are, man. I don't know if you even know the power you got from the things you say. Never allow fear to stop you from following the Holy Spirit. His will, listen, let me finish. Because I love being specific. Look at me.
Please.
I'm not saying, listen to me. You, just from our conversation, the Holy Spirit is the Spirit of God. The Father, Son, Holy Spirit, they're all one. What he desires for you is for you to bring him glory, your family, your children to bring him glory. Fear is placed in front of that as a deterrent to stop you. That's why I gave you props for identifying your cause and effect. Your fear of divorce is greater than your desire to be married.
Yes, sir.
That's why I said early on in our conversation that what I do, my love for my wife, my children, everything, if I had to compare that for the Most High's will, I would say my family is down here. And my love and my affinity and what I want to complete in Yah is to the moon.
So,
and the reason I say that, when we allow fear to enter in, and I start looking at my desires, what I want, what I'm scared of, versus what his will is, that's when I get in trouble.
I think
you know, I see this live is going a bit longer, but I do want to touch on something because we put it on the thumbnail, right? Like, is Cam Newton red pill? And hearing this conversation, I think I got a good grasp of what's going on, right? Because he identified it. And maybe you guys could chime in. Maybe, you know, obviously, James, we're here talking, but like, to transition just a bit, is red pill fear masked in masculinity? Like, is red pill?
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna phrase it again. Fear masked in masculinity. You're gonna beat your chest and you're gonna say, I'm this alpha male, I'm this type of guy, I'm this and that. But when you peel back the layers, you realize it's nothing but these fears of past hurts, and you're learning these new behavioral patterns to avoid getting hurt again.
Yes. A lot of what we do is fear driven. And I'll tell you, you know, many people that are red pill, you know, they like to say that, you know, we're now exposing the reality of how women nature operates. Yes, you have done so, but to bad women, because not all women operate in the same manner. You've exposed women, some women who operate under this selfish mindset. Kudos. But now your responses to it is based on fear. That's the issue. Your remedies to avoid these types of women has now generalized all women and placed them in the same category. Because if you were not driven by fear, all the advice would be to find the right woman. You don't need all this red pill philosophy. Just find the right woman that understands your circumstances, that loves you for who you are. Don't just say, I don't need love, I just want respect. No, demand both. You need both. Demand the respect and as well as demand the love too. Let the love gradually unfold as you court this woman, and her character will manifest and reveal herself, and your character will reveal itself, and then you find a way to make it work. What you say?
No, I think what you're saying is valid, and I think it's sad because I've seen so many people, men, who've been hurt in the past, and now they say, like you said, oh, it's I understand female nature and all this other stuff, and you got to realize that, like, when you lump all these women in the same box, it's like there's a lot of genuine women out there. Like, here's the thing, right? If we are to claim that it's female nature, then we must also concede that this is a nature that existed from the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if it existed in the beginning, you don't hear none of these men ever say don't get married. That was not the mindset. All these men who I would consider to be real masculine, or far more than any of us today. Now we're talking about David, who was a warrior. They made songs about this cat. Saul killed his 1,000, David killed his 10,000. Anybody, any one of y'all got 10,000 body counts? You get what I'm saying? Like these dudes were legit warriors, fighting lions, bears. You get what I'm saying? They were really in the elements. But what's my point? You have these real testosterone full men, and their advice to us in the scriptures was never don't get married. No, in actuality, it was they did tell you about human female nature. You can see it all over Proverbs. You can see it in the book of Sirach or Ecclesiasticus, right? They tell you female nature, but it's not to the intent of you avoiding women altogether or avoiding marriage altogether. No, they actually is just to help you avoid a certain type of woman, right? Don't find yourself the quote unquote wicked woman, but there's also the righteous woman, the Proverbs 31, and this is the kind of stuff we kind of touched on it earlier, which is I don't think that there's that balance, right? Like Red Pill wants to lump all these women together, but no. What about these righteous women? The problem is men are not looking for that. And if we start being truthful with ourselves, then you start realizing that, again, this is the problem when you always want to point the finger, right? Tyreek did not choose. We did a video, and it's amazing how all these videos we make is kind of like almost like being all in one, right? Yeah, and I don't think it's like people see the bigger picture of what we're painting here. But like when we have Paul Pierce say, don't get yourself a 9 or 10, get yourself a 5 or 6. It sounds funny. It sounds funny. But the thing is, when you really look at it, what he's saying is that, look, we've too often or not, we are attracted to women only because of their beauty. And that is the stumbling block. That is the reason why it ends up in divorce. That's the reason why it ends up with you having to pay $500,000. Stop with the 9s and 10s. Get yourself a humble woman that actually wants to build your house, that don't give two shits about your money or your finances. That's not to say that those things are not important, but they're not looking at you for that. They're looking at you for your character. They're looking for you for your spiritual guidance. They're looking at you for your ability to actually lead them to the Father, to the kingdom. Not for you because of your money. And this is what I'm saying. Like, this is why terms like ride or die, you know what I'm saying? She was with me in the trenches. These things don't even exist no more. Because these guys are choosing a bunch of lanes. And I'm going to land the plane by saying this. If you have that fear, right, because you want to blame it on the women, just understand the Bible already, because they want to throw Bible verses all day. Well, here's another one, right? A wicked woman is a portion to a wicked man. That's Sirach. So at the end of the day, you're going to attract who you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Another thing, you finish?
Yeah.
Another thing too, I have to stress this for the women. Again, you're going to encounter men that want you for sex, that give you babies, that don't want to marry you. This is the problem. I keep saying this again. You got to marry before you carry. It makes no sense to give a man wife treatment being a girlfriend, because you got guys like Cam Newton that don't want to wife you up. It don't make sense. So this is why you have to save yourself until you get married. Then you could give your husband all the wife treatment in the world. But until then, stop giving him free milk.
Man, bro, this is actually kind of sad. And I think this is another thing too, right? Because I think the reason why Jason Wilson is trying so hard. Jason Wilson is the older gentleman, yeah. For those who may not understand, I think the reason why Jason Wilson was trying so hard with Cam Newton is because Cam Newton possesses a lot of potential, as a successful man, again, there's so many people looking up to him. And, you know, despite him being a football player, even you guys, right, just the average man, you probably hold a lot of, you know, potential amongst your own community. You probably have the younger brother, the nephew. You probably got the boy on the street that's looking at you. And as an older gentleman, what example are you setting forth? Because that's another thing too. Like, we could look at it all day, like, okay, yeah, he's rich. Okay, fine, we get it. But every single one of us has the ability to affect the generations coming after us.
Yes.
What is the legacy that you're leaving behind? Is the message that you want for people to know that, you know what, I'm just gonna dick girls down. I'm never gonna marry. I have a bunch of baby mamas. And all you doing is perpetuating the same cycle of hurt within our community, especially the Black community. But all communities have it, right? They all have their few select women who got a bunch of children by a bunch of different baby daddies, which that's another video we just did as well, right? And this is the kind of thing, is like, are you going to perpetuate that hate? And the little boys that's looking at you, they're going to be like, oh, okay, so that's what it means to be a man? Wrong. Like, when are we as the older generation, right? Because we 30s and above, right? Or I mean, even if you're in your 20s, but what example are we setting forth for the younger generation coming after us? They gotta learn, they gotta hear a different rhetoric. They gotta maybe hear a different thought pattern. It's not. It is cool to actually get married. It is cool to actually, you know what I'm saying, find that right person and build a family. And then, you know, this is the kind of talk that it may sound corny, like, ah, man, get off of that. And hey, there you go. This is why you probably got dudes like Cam Newton looking like this, right? Right? Like, this dude, the way he was moving, it kind of made it seem as if, like, man, bro, I hear you. I hear all the verses that you're dropping, but I'm not trying to really hear all of that. And that's fine. But I do believe there's got to come a time where we as men actually set a different precedence, because it ain't cool. It's not cool for us to constantly keep repeating the same pattern of behavior, the same pattern of failure within our communities. Like, we need to actually build, because, you know, and I've done a lot of talking. I won't do no more. We're already like an hour and 22 minutes in. But it's just like, if there's anything that I think we really are pushing on this channel, especially recently, is just building strong families again. Like, I think that's the true message that we need to really be pushing more than anything. I don't think there's a proper balance out. You have feminism on the women's side that they definitely don't want to start families. And then you got Red Pill, who they not trying to start families neither. And it's just like, they both, in my personal opinion, I think they both wrong on both sides. Like, there's got to be a balance where we could actually be able to, yes, identify what's taking place in reality without all the pessimism. You know what I'm saying? You have any like final words, bro?
No, you said it eloquently. I think we need to change the cycle of hurt. Point blank, period. That's the only way we can fix ourselves. You know, if you know better, do better. That's one thing. Like, if you know better, do better. Yeah, you said it, man. It's time for us to rebuild our families and for us to get serious and committed.
Yeah, I guess one last thing for all those who may be watching, if you haven't done so already, I just dropped the link to our official Eugene Brothers YouTube channel. It would mean a lot if you guys are able to support that channel. We actually trying to grow to our first first 50, right? We're trying to go to our first 50 subscribers, because if once we get 50, then we can actually start doing live streams. And I do believe that channel has the potential to grow faster than this Message Sent channel, because I have far too many topics on this channel, and you know, the algorithm is not showing love, because you know, when you have too many niches, it gets confused. So that channel is going to be more centered around the building of families, and I like to call it like red pill adjacent, rhetoric or talking points. But please, it would mean a lot once again, guys, if you guys are able to just click on that link and just hit the subscribe button. You know what I mean? I don't really got anything else other than that. I do appreciate all of you who were able to come out to the live and chime in. With that being said, Nick, James, over and out. Jesus is King, y'all.
Subscribe.